Apple released the brand new AirPod Pros 3 over the weekend on Friday. That was the release date. They obviously announced it the week before. I've had my hands on them for now, what has it been, 4 days, 5 days? And I've been using them nonstop since then, just to test them out, kind of see how they go. I want to give my accurate review basically for the average consumer like you guys, and kind of see, is it worth upgrading? My first reason is it has the same H2 chip as before. That isn't something that's really big whenever you have the AirPods Pro 2. That doesn't mean that there's basically any more processing power or anything that's going to basically give this maybe a little more efficiency while using compared to last generation's model. So you are stuck with the same chip. Now, I don't know what Apple could do to innovate that chip to make it much better, but that is the same kind of thing. So you're not really getting any leaps and bounds off of the same kind of percentage of battery or whatever it may be, quicker efficiency of connecting or anything like that. It's still going to be the same chip at the end of the day. Technically, while leading into this conversation, battery life is better when it is outside of the case. When it's inside of the case, you don't have as big of a battery. And I'm not sure if Apple did something differently with the internals here. I haven't looked at a teardown just yet, but the overall battery size and case size is actually smaller than what the previous generations is. So that means that, let's just say you wanted to take this on a trip with you, the actual long-term battery usage is actually going to be less. However, when they are in your ears and you are actually using them, I believe you get extra 2 hours of battery life, which I did actually notice while I was using it. I felt like I didn't have to actually put it in as soon, and the battery percentages didn't drain. I don't use my AirPods enough to be able to drain it in one session, so I never really have this problem. But I did notice the case usage going down a little faster than what I've been used to on my AirPod Pros too. So that's something that I think you should note if you're looking to upgrade. And it just depends, like your average day, right? Are you going to be anywhere where you can throw this on the charger for like 5 seconds, and just get that quick charge? Because I think you only need 5 minutes to get, the 50% battery life on it, which is a good proposition, right? That's not something that I think you're gonna not use, because it is something that's helpful. And I think that's a good increase on here. But your overall case value of, being away from a grid possibly and just trying to use this throughout the whole day, technically you do have worse battery life on the case. Let's talk about some of the positives. So some of the things that I've noticed about this thing, Apple claims that it has a 4 times better active noise cancellation efficiency boost compared to the originals. And the original was 5 years ago now. So it's been some time. The AirPod Pro Gen 2 claims that they only have double the amount. So this is technically double that amount of last generations. And I can confirm while using them, I have noticed that just overall, the actual listening experience and the blocking of noise, just like random miscellaneous noises while I use these in my office, while I have been out and about. I use these actually at a grocery store just to test and kind of see how everybody around me sounds. I did it in transparency and in noise cancellation. But I will say the noise cancellation did sound a lot better. So I'm really impressed with the way that they kind of did this without an actual chip boost, right? Because it still has the old chip inside of it. So I don't know where that actually came from. I don't know if it's the way the ear tips fit in your ears now, because there is a difference in design there. So I don't know if they achieved that through that measure, or if it's the microphones that they changed out, right? Because this does have studio quality microphones that they like to throw around, and it does. I can't confirm that the microphones sound a lot better than the previous generation of AirPods. So that's something that I think is really good for people that are on phone calls a lot or use this for anything, meeting-wise that they want to kind of use their quick AirPods for, rather than maybe having to put on a professional mic or a podcast mic or whatever it may be. These do sound pretty great. Another feature of these that, compared to the last generation that they have, is the heart rate sensing built in. I don't really ever use that feature probably on this. I haven't used it yet because I've used my Apple Watch. I carry my Apple Watch with me all the time. But if you're somebody who maybe is on, wearing a Rolex or something like that and doesn't have time to wear an Apple Watch, that could be a useful feature if you're out running and about and you just don't want to spend the extra money on an Apple Watch. So it is good that you can get the heart rate area kind of measured. I think that's really helpful for people that don't have the Apple Watch and they maybe don't even run with their phone. Well, I guess you have to run with your phone to do this. So I'm not really seeing, a crazy big, benefit to it being inside of the AirPods, but maybe there's a feature that's going to come out sooner that kind of stuff helps out with, I know it can measure, I believe, your ear temperature as well too, if I remember correctly. So that's something that could also be health sensing features for the AirPods, or maybe that was a rumor that is being rolled back now. But That is something that can be really helpful, if you just don't have an Apple Watch or you're not in that ecosystem, and that's assuming that you don't have any other thing to track your heart rate on. So to me, the people that care about that probably already have things like that. So I'm not too sure how big of a sell that is for the average consumer, because I don't know if a lot of people are going to be using something like that. One of the big things that Apple talked about inside of their keynote was basically the live translation feature, right? It was something where you could have it inside of your ears. You're in a different country. You got no idea what anybody's saying, but you just look at the person, you talk to them, it's connected to your iPhone, and you can have a direct conversation with that person. They speak to you, and you'll be able to hear what they're saying translated into your native language, and your phone would have basically kind of the little translation option that you can kind of show them, so that way they're able to communicate with you as well too. That is an amazing feature, but it's not exclusive to the Pro 3s. The Pro 2s still do have that option, so that's something that I think in the end, it's not really a big selling point of the Pro 3s, because the 2s are able to do it as well too. And I don't think there's an extra processing power that enables that, because again, same exact chip as last year, or the couple of years ago AirPod Pros 2 model, and the iPhone probably does a lot of that processing and onboarding anyways, so it doesn't really matter in the long run about the specific AirPod generation that you have. So if that's something that you're looking forward to, you're like, that's one of your selling points, if you have the AirPod Pros 2, they still do that. The original ones I don't think do that at all, so it's really not something that I think you're going to be looking for. And I believe the older version of the AirPod Pro, just the AirPods, the 4th gen, also support this feature. So it's not something that you need to automatically go out and jump to the Pro version to get that. One thing that I thought was really cool about this is that it now has IP57 rating. I believe last year, or the previous generation, was IP54. This means that I believe on the 7th gen, the 7th area, the dust rating is still the same at the 5, but on the 7th, this basically means that it can be submerged in water. This doesn't mean that you can go like maybe deep sea diving or anything like that, but I believe it's up to 1 meter, and I think they give it like 30 seconds or 60 seconds as its marker of what it's supposed to be able to withhold. So that's actually something that's really interesting, because now this can be used in really, really wet climates, and you fall into a puddle, or you trip into a river or something like that. Technically, this will be able to take that, which the other AirPods are not able to do. Technically, they're able to kind of just withstand repeated water on it. So that's like sweat, maybe a splash of water, but like high pressure water isn't really technically covered by that IP54 rating, I think is what it was before. So now that it's IP57, you are able to do a lot more with this. So take your AirPods out for a swim. That's not full advice, but technically it's rated for a little bit of submersion. So if you accidentally trip into the pool, or you somehow your AirPod falls into a toilet, or you accidentally have them on in the shower or whatever, like it's going to be able to withstand that, and that's going to be really helpful. So I love that about these. I never really use my AirPods in any wet climate or any like area where I will be swimming or anything like that. I don't use my AirPods in that sense, but that is something that maybe other people do, but it's a very niche area. But it's nice that it has better protection. So that means for the average person, you just going out and it's raining, you're going to be fully fine, and you don't need to worry about these things at all. It can take that kind of water very easily, and it should basically be good to go for your whole journey. But yeah, those are some of the differences about the AirPods Pro 3. Do I recommend it? It really depends. If you've got extra money laying around, and you're gonna sell your old generation and trade it in or whatever it may be to get extra money towards it, then 100% you should just take the offer. I love the active noise cancellation on this thing. I think it's some of the best that I've ever heard in in-ear headphones. I think actually the best. So that's something that's really helpful, just if you're in a busy work environment, if you go to school with them, if you use it to go to sleep, that's really, really helpful. So I think that's something that I personally value a lot, and I was willing to upgrade. I also had the Pro Gen 2 version, and I've had those for maybe about 2.5 years now, 2 years. So they've been around for a while, and I just don't really care for the fit and alignment. I think something that's really big that I didn't really mention a lot was the redesigned AirPods internally, where they fit into your ear. It fits better into my ear, and it's a lot more comfortable. And I think that that's something that if the AirPod Gen 2s and Gen 1s, the Pro versions, are uncomfortable in your ears, you may have a better experience with this. So that is something that I would also recommend, if you were looking to jump. But if you're on Gen 1s or you're on the non-Pro models, then I definitely do think you should upgrade. I think it's a good value. These aren't overly insanely expensive compared to other headphones in the market. It's not like these are double the price of normal, headphones that are equivalent of like sound and noise cancellation and all that stuff. So I do think that, you should go out and take this and take the deal and just get it. But, it's not just something where you need to go out and drop everything and go grab it today. It's going to be a product available in stock for the next probably 2 years when they redesign it again. And it's something that could definitely wait. It's a perfect Christmas present. I think it's something that people will love and enjoy. And it's a great device. I've had a good time with it. I'm going to keep on using them. These are now my daily drivers. I use them more than ever. I use them for the review a lot. And now I want to actually use them a lot more even after that point. I didn't use my old AirPods that much, but I've been trained to use these now. So I think I'm going to start doing that. But thank you guys for watching. I'm going to have more reviews about the Apple Watch and the iPhone out soon. So please keep an eye on my channel for those. And thanks for watching.